Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the 52nd episode of the Supernova Show! And I am your host, Colton Roberts, and this is going to be a good show. We're going to talk some the Schmodown Awards and some kind of developments they have for Season 9, aka the reboot. We're going to talk about the big game and any interesting like trailers and stuff that happened during all of that. And then we're going to talk Peacemaker episode 8. So yeah, this is going to be fun. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in our main man, Mr. Robert Kastner. Hey, Robert.
Hey, you caught me in the middle of reading.
Yes. That's a good book.
Yeah, I'm still working my way through it because
I refuse to finish it until the second part comes out of the movies, because like even though I've got one little thing spoiled for me because of something, and I refuse to say that on air for anyone else, and I really want to watch the 1984 version. Yep, but apparently that is the entire first book crammed into one movie, whereas the new one is 2 movies for the first book, which
probably done right. The anti Hobbit, as I call it.
Yes. Yeah, like I agree completely. Like now I do want to watch the old one because Kyle MacLachlan is just the best.
And Wilford Brimley.
Yep.
Also in there, from what I understand. And the soundtrack was done by Devo, which is a trivia question that has come up multiple times that I now remember.
Yeah. So how you been?
Busy. People, the diehards of the Supernova Show might have noticed it was a little bit later than usual to start. A little bit of a delay. Most times in sporting events, that would be a weather delay. This was a work delay because work is taking over my life and it stinks, but such is my life now. I was at this job and I'm doing this job, and I had like basically 2 months to myself to catch up on stuff because things had gotten out of control. And in 3 weeks' time, I'm back to where I was. Incredible.
Yay.
Yeah, it's super duper. I love it.
Yeah, well, that's no good. Yeah, I've been working doing my insurance thing. Like you know, which I don't know if I'm finally allowed to talk about it. I'm an insurance agent with Aflac, so that's
Aflac.
Yep.
Have you met Gilbert Gottfried?
No, I have not.
Well, what's the point of working at Aflac then?
I don't know, but yeah, and then I start another second job next week, being something.
Being a something. I like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know the exact a marketing or sales representative for a small company here.
Jeez. You have all the fun jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I can work from home with both of them, so I like that, especially since we are 27 days till the birth of my son, if he stays in however long he's supposed to. If he stays if he comes early, that's fine. If he comes late, you guys may never see me again. So if the Supernova Show gets canceled spontaneously, you don't know it, send the police to East Bend, North Carolina, because I might be dead. So,
wow.
According to how late he is.
Yeah. Well, what are we? Are we twice as many episodes as days that the kid is due at this point? A little over that. That's good.
Yeah. And see, your call sign there is hopefully not a reference to anything doing with my personal life. So
no. Yeah. I never do monikers related to your life.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good call sign, I will say.
Well, thank you. We will explain its reasoning as we get further along into the show. I'm sure people understand what it references if you watch the show and you understand what subjects it is that we tackle.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the big game.
Speaking of tackle,
Okay, so I have a question.
yes.
Why is it that media outlets aren't allowed to call it what it is?
I call it the S Super Bowl,
Yes.
which is different enough, I think. So that's how I'm going to refer to it as the S Super Bowl. You cannot say that because it's trademarked by the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I've
that's
seen
why
so
Stephen
many.
Colbert would call it the Superb Owl, which was
Yeah.
great. In Bob's Burgers, Gene was doing a thing where it was the Super Bowl because he was trying not to go to the bathroom for the entirety of the game, which was tough toenails for him.
But yeah, I mean, of course, with our four watchers or some. But yeah, I don't think the NFL is coming to strike us down. But
Well, you can never be too careful. So S Super
that's
Bowl,
right.
S Super Bowl it is.
Yeah, the bowl that is you know, like the bowl that is like the man. So
The less than the Mega Bowl,
yes.
the less than the Ultra Bowl. Actually, those sound bad. I might call it that. I think I'm going to call it that. The less than the Ultra Bowl.
Okay. So the Ultra Bowl,
Yeah,
it
the
was
less than the Ultra Bowl.
yes, it was a good game.
I
Like
enjoyed it. I know a lot of people found it boring in the middle because there were not a lot of highlights. It was a lot of, but that tends to happen in the less than Ultra Bowl where uh teams sort of feel each other out. Usually it's at the beginning, but there were like some big plays in the beginning. There was that big play to Jamar Chase that Joe Burrow hit. There was the touchdown to Odell. There was the Odell injury, which basically set the course of how the game was going to go for the rest of the time. But in the middle, there was a lot of offensive ineptitude. And I think a lot of people thought the game lacked because of it. But at the end, it was very exciting. I mean, the Rams were losing because of a terrible, terrible penalty, which as it got later, when it became obvious that the Bengals, if they were going to win, were going to win by less than a score, I was going to say if the Bengals won, I was not going to recognize the Super Bowl victory because it was done shadily.
yeah,
Um, the the
yeah,
Rams the Rams were basically going to lose. They had to go on this long drive. They ended up scoring. The Bengals went right down the field in 2 plays. It seemed like it was going to go to overtime at least. And then Rams tightened up and it kind of ended at the end, at the very, very end with a whimper. But that last 4 minutes of the game I thought was very stupendous.
yeah. Like I was last week. I made the prediction that the Bengals were going to win
Yes.
because I thought, well, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I have cursed the Bengals because I guarantee if I had picked the Rams, the Bengals would have won. But
No,
I am just the worst.
no.
No, I blame myself for that because they were so close. Like, I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near that close.
No, I don't understand how the Bengals with the numbers that they have, the rankings that they have, how they barely scooted by the 3 previous opponents, they got to a point where they were 4 minutes away from winning a Super Bowl. Winning a less than Ultra Bowl. Then I don't understand how it got to that point, but it got to that point weirdly. And I think that sort of speaks to the Bengals. They're going to have to fix some things to try to get back. I think this was sort of a Cinderella run of epic proportions, and it seems disappointing that they did not win the championship for them. For me, I loved it because I hate the Bengals. So
Yeah. As a person who I didn't care at all about this game, like
a lot of people.
I was more interested in the trailers, especially one particular one. The second one, like the trailer that was on the actual show, was nowhere near as good as the one that they posted online, which totally makes sense because apparently it's like millions of dollars for a minute.
Yeah,
I don't remember the
like
exact
$3 million
statistic.
for a minute.
Yeah, and whenever the trailer that we're gonna talk about in a little bit, was like 2.5 minutes long, you're like, "Yeah, no, that's not worth $10 million."
Well, they thought it was, and I all the companies that are putting out these big trailers have the money, so I don't understand why it matters if they throw a
Yeah,
little extra pieces of spare change at this.
well, and also I doubt that the big game would wanna be on hold for 2.5 minutes while they watched only one trailer for a Marvel movie, so probably not, but, yeah, like, I thought the game was really good, I was surprised because it was on Peacock this year, right?
It was on NBC. Yeah.
Yeah. And I one of my buddies uh texted me. He's like, "Oh, the halftime show is on Peacock," and I'm like, "Well, the entire game is." He's like, "Yeah, I don't watch football. I just watched the halftime show." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm watching the entire." I was like, "Well, no, I've enjoyed football this season. Like, it's
Yeah.
not been bad. It's gonna."
It wasn't, and this game wasn't bad. The Rams were in a Super Bowl 3 years ago that was really lame, unless you're a Patriots fan. But it was very lame for the casual fan because there was no scoring. The Rams couldn't do anything. They had the worst offensive performance in the Super Bowl ever. Interestingly enough, the Rams had the worst rushing performance in a Super Bowl ever this time, but this was at least way more exciting. And then that's coupled with, because I don't remember who was the halftime show in that game. Oh, it was Adam Levine was somebody, and then there was a mixture of other people, but or Maroon 5. No, I think it was Maroon 5. Yeah, because Adam Levine was there and shirtless and tattooed. But this halftime show was bonkers, and I mean that in a good way. It was
It,
awesome.
it was so good for people our age. Like I
Yeah,
saw a post that was like, every other year when you're watching the halftime show and you're like, I don't get what's going on, but your parents understand.
yeah,
Like us 90s kids are officially old now
yeah.
because we understood what was going on. It kind of like it was weird that Ice Cube wasn't there. I was expecting that like the entire time because they didn't announce him, but they didn't announce
50
uh
Cent
yeah.
or
And
Anderson Paak, who just played the drums, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I know. I'm glad Rue's watching so he could hat watch. He's the arbiter of hat watch. I was coming off work. I didn't wear a hat, so I just didn't want to get one. And I got a nice fresh haircut last week, so I want to show it off. But I appreciate you throwing that all in caps. No, yeah, I don't know. Ice Cube just didn't fit the vibe of it. Maybe he's declined. Who knows?
yeah, yeah, that's probably definitely possible. Because I mean we saw so many celebrities like
Ugh.
in the
That's the thing
background.
I hated about the LA Super Bowl is that we had to talk about all the stupid ass celebrities.
Yeah, we had Ben Affleck and
And J-Lo.
J
Yeah.
Lo. We had
Charlize Theron, when I was like,
yeah,
how many games has Charlize Theron been to? Come on.
yeah, LeBron James was there.
Which was interesting because the Lakers played the other night and Aaron Donald was courtside and helped sort of spark LeBron to win like a furious comeback game against Utah. So that was a nice give and take with the LA teams.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I liked the show. Like, yeah, it was a good halftime show. It was the one that I've normally I like go get something to eat or whatever because it's just not in. Last year's was not good.
Oh, I liked it. I understand why people didn't like it, but I thought it was interesting. They tried to do something new, and I know to some people didn't work, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, and then of course like seeing 50 Cent, and I was just like, hey,
Yeah,
I know all of these people. Actually, that's not true. I have no idea who Kendrick Lamar is, but
that's terrible. Please do
because
something
I
about
don't.
that.
Well, everyone else were singers when I was listening to that type of
Yeah,
music. Like I don't really listen to music anymore. I most of the time like listen to a podcast in the car or use
I
my
guess yes.
GPS for whatever because I'm an old man now. Or yeah, like so that's on me, but I had no idea. Like my wife was like, "That's Kendrick Lamar." I was like, "That doesn't help me at all."
Do you remember the Black Panther soundtrack?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he basically curated that soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
He's in All the Stars, the song that got nominated for Best Song, and he did a bunch of other songs on that. That's Kendrick Lamar. Please, I saw him in concert, and he's amazing, and I love him.
Okay.
Please just listen to a couple songs and get used
Okay.
to him because he's awesome. Did you
Yeah.
like did you like what he did though? Did you
Yeah.
like what was going on?
Yeah.
Okay, because it was very of all the stuff, it was the most interesting stuff. Maybe
And
not the best music or the most. Well, it was probably the best music too, honestly. But like, it wasn't maybe the music that resonated with the most people, but it was the thing that was the most interesting in the show, I think.
yeah, I will say, I think Eminem, this is probably the best he's ever looked in his entire life.
There were times where he's getting bulky, yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
honestly,
he
when
looks
50 came
big,
out,
so suits him.
yeah, having facial hair suits him. I mean, he's the father of like 20-year-old kids or whatever, so he's like 50 or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
and like I mean, I assume like facial hair suits most dudes.
Usually,
Yeah, usually. So I'm sure, like, except for like Henry Cavill, like he's the one person who like looks better
no,
with
he's
baby
great.
face.
Like mustache, he was great in Fallout with the mustache.
I mean, he was, but I think he looks better baby face than he does with a
Eh,
mustache.
I disagree.
But
You don't like Clark Kent, uh,
no,
Woodsman Clark Kent as he's trying to find himself, as he's trying to find the Fortress of Solitude, Man of Steel. You don't like that version of Clark Kent?
um,
His shirt?
actually, yeah, that one's good too.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Um, yeah, as he's trying to find his little spaceship or whatever.
Yeah, as his entire outfit is burning off and he's holding up the entirety of an oil rig. And then he just disappears because again, he has no like I don't even know if he has a social security number. Do we know if he has a social security number in that movie?
I would assume so because he would have one as Clark.
Would he?
I mean, he lives in the United States,
He
and
does, but people live in the United States without,
yeah, but unless you're, I mean, I don't want to get too political here, but I'm pretty sure unless you're like a Mormon, if you're born like, I mean, they would probably have fabricated like a birth certificate or
Yeah,
something
I
to
assume
get
he did.
one,
I'm
and to
joking.
get
I,
like
I bet he did have one.
yeah, and to get like normal jobs, like I guess
Norm.
like to work at with the newspaper and stuff, he would have to have one.
You would think.
Yeah. But yeah, like it was a good it was a I think it was a good game. It was a good halftime show. I was very satisfied with it. With the entire thing. And
Yeah.
I mean it was long. It didn't
The
seem like
show?
last
The
year's
show?
was as long, but
Well, that was only one person, I think. No,
yeah,
I thought it was about similar.
I'm just saying like the entire game, like it was like
Oh,
it seemed like
sorry.
it was like an hour longer than it was last year.
I don't know. I thought it was about the same.
Okay. Maybe it just felt longer.
Maybe you were paying attention more to the entirety of the game, so it seemed longer.
Yeah, that's also probably because last year, I mean, I was watching it for the sake of the Bucks, and so
Mm.
yeah. So, but
Well, that game felt interminable to me, but that's just me.
yeah, but yeah, it was all good. But
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. I liked it a lot. I've been in this house and I've seen 3 Super Bowls, I believe, and it was my favorite of the Super Bowls I have seen.
less than Ultra Bowls.
Yes, sorry, less than Ultra Bowls. Sorry. I'm used to just speaking in normal tones. But yes, the S Super Bowl, the less than Ultra Bowls, I've watched 3 of them here, and that was my favorite one.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of the less than Ultra Bowls,
Yes.
let's talk about the big game trailers.
Ooh, yeah, there were a lot of them,
Oh my
including
lord!
including two I had seen online prior to the game because they put them out online before, like the night, 2 nights before, like the Jurassic World Dominion trailer.
Yeah, I watched that, and like my wife had sent it to me Saturday, and she
Mm.
was like, "You're gonna have to take the boys to that because um, her and the baby are not gonna want to go to that, and she's not
What?
gonna take him places
The
at that
baby
point."
won't like to see these big CGI monsters
I mean, I'm
eating people
sure.
all over the
I
place?
mean, I will say, I like the way that like um, I told my wife that because he was in our belly when we watched Spider-Man: No Way Home. That
Yeah.
was his first superhero movie ever, and I like that.
I mean, that's a good one to start with. I don't
Yeah,
remember what the first superhero movie I ever watched was. That's a good question. Do you count The Mask? Because The Mask probably would be mine.
yeah. I don't know what mine would be.
Yeah.
Probably one of the original Superman movies.
Wow, that's not bad. If it's one
Probably
or two,
like
that's not. If it's one or
because
two, that's not bad.
I definitely did not watch Batman uh, Returns. I would be
Oh,
like
maybe
one or
that's it. It's that, or it might be that, or The Mask for me. I
yeah,
think.
because like looking back, like Penguin was so creepy that when they
Uh,
made
yeah, the whole
yeah,
conversation between him and Catwoman as she's trying to join forces and he's trying to bone her is very gross.
yeah, and like he was so creepy looking that whenever they made the McDonald's toys, it's all of the characters from the movie, and then it's Penguin from the animated show.
Yeah.
And
Well, he was more of an he was a upstanding chap.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I always thought that was really weird as a kid, and now as an adult, I'm like, well, yeah, he's kind of. If he acted like this in 2022, he would have got canceled. Um, but
He
yeah,
is the NSFW-ist of the characters.
yeah,
Michelle Pfeiffer's a little bit above him, and then everybody else. But yeah, he is the worst. Yeah. So that trailer's fine. I haven't watched Fallen Kingdom yet. It's recorded somewhere. Maybe I will watch it at some point. But I'm not really as concerned about that one. It was just one that was the first one that was like the big one that came up that I remember.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't.
I mean, the most exciting thing is that the old guard is coming back, right? That's I don't give a crap about. I mean, I guess it's sort of cool. Dinosaurs fully embraced, fully available in modern society, but other than that, kind of looks like the same stuff to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's. I'm not excited about it even in the slightest because I haven't liked any of the Jurassic World movies.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, they've been pretty lame.
Yeah, but I mean the first one was okay. And I did not like the second one, and I only watched the second one because of my sons, and I'm only gonna watch the third one because of my sons. So that's something. But yeah, I'm trying to think what other trailers
Uh,
before we get to the two that I definitely want to talk about. Um,
were there
and
other what other ones besides those? I can't recall. Were there other ones besides? It was like three big ones, right? And then
didn't the Worlds of DC whatever the four movie
did
did
that?
that
No,
come
I
out?
didn't remember seeing that on that.
Okay, it came out the day before that.
Yeah, it came out before.
Where it showed off new things of all four of the movies that are coming out this year. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm excited for the Batman because I think that's going to be good. I'm excited for Black Adam because of The Rock, and I'm not excited for the other two at all.
Boo.
Yeah, so
Can I
I
be
know,
honest? I'm more excited about one of those movies because of something we're going to talk about here shortly.
but yeah, then of course, all right, now, hey, internet. Last week I made a proclamation about the Lord of the Rings show that I wasn't a fan of the fact that like the dwarven woman, like a lot of people were screaming that because the color of her skin, and I was just thinking, hey, she needs a beard. And then the elvish guy, I was like, he needs to not have his hair cut, but if they explain it in the show that he's been like dishonored or something, then that's fine. But apparently, I have totally forgot that, this is my brain. Technically, men aren't supposed to have, or at least high nobled men are not supposed to have beards either. So,
Really?
yeah, so Aragorn and Denethor and Faramir and Boromir are all supposed to not have beards because they are part Numenorians, and
Mhm.
Numenorians don't have beards. So I apologize
Well,
out
they have
there.
facial hair. I mean,
Yeah, and in the movies, they all have facial hair.
yeah.
And guess what? I love those movies. So I can't say now, I'm like, I have to just ignore that part because obviously Return of the King is the greatest movie ever. Uh, so
I've
if
backed out of that. Well, not to what you said. I don't. I backed up from it being the best of 6, 7. I still need to watch the animated one. Maybe the animated one's the best. Who knows?
oh, the animated one is really good. Like I was
Okay.
really thinking, like if I can get Anthony back on the show, I want to revisit at least the animated one because we didn't review it. But I've watched it recently. It is so good.
I think you're gonna have to physically pay Anthony to do
Yeah, well, there's not as much walking in that one.
that.
I remember having watched it when I was a kid because there's this creepy scene where do you care if I say something about it?
No.
It's the same scene from Fellowship of the Ring where the Nazgul climb up the stair, but they're cartoon weirdos,
Yeah.
and they look super. Like I remember as a kid watching it after Fellowship came out, someone was like, "Hey, here's another Lord of the Rings movie," and it creeped me out because they were like animated, uh, creepy weirdos versus the live ones, which I'm like, that's just people pretending. For some reason, my brain was like, someone took their time to draw this. They're a messed up human being.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it's a pretty good movie. I hate that it didn't do as well because then they didn't make uh 2 and 3. But
I mean, it's mired in that the Beatles wanted to do it thing, and they wouldn't, and the Tolkien uh, estate wouldn't let them. Right. That's the biggest thing really that came out of that is that part of it.
and now, all right, so the trailer for the Lord of the Rings show
Yeah.
is, I think it looks really good. Now there are some things that have came out since the trailer was released that because some of the stuff in it doesn't make sense with the lore that they've established in the books, or at least in the Silmarillion. Apparently, uh, Amazon couldn't get the rights to the Silmarillion because the Tolkien estate refuses to sell that.
They got to
So
hold on to some stuff,
they're
right?
having to use stuff that was in like the appendices of the 3 books in The Hobbit
Okay.
and other stuff that's mentioned
Yeah.
throughout. So some of the stuff, that's the reason why like there's lore gaps, and like diehard Tolkien people may not like it because they can't use anything that's in the Silmarillion
So you're saying
directly.
Colbert's out on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will. I mean, he really likes uh the Lord of the Rings movies, and there's a lot of lore gaps in those movies if you go straight
Well,
directly into that.
he was in Smaug, so
Yeah.
of course. No,
So
I mean he liked it before. I'm just kidding.
yeah, like
That was my second Colbert reference, by the way. In this,
yes.
see if I can come up with a third somewhere organically. People, I'm not going to just throw it in there for no reason.
Yeah, but yeah, like I am really excited. It's gonna be a little weird seeing Galadriel actually doing battle stuff.
Yeah,
because she's mostly like,
A witch.
yeah, like an elvish priestess. But I love the first shot is of the uh the city, and by like because it has the statue that has the hand, and that's a man thing.
The Argonath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a not exactly because the Argonauts are Elendil and Isildur, and
Yeah.
this would have been like an ancient king, even
Okay.
more ancient. But yeah, it's like it's beautiful. Like the trailer looks so good, and
Didn't you
I
tell me that the point of it was that they were trying to keep it as close to Peter Jackson's style of cinematography and shooting and all that jazz? Weren't they trying to keep
um
it to that degree of
I believe so. And unless like if this show, according to how many seasons of the show it gets, I assume that this show will end. Because the first battle in Fellowship of the Ring is when Sauron is defeated. That's at the end of the Second Age,
yes.
and this show is supposed to take place during the Second Age.
So
So,
you think much like much like Fantastic Beasts, there is a set end point.
well, yeah, but it's like 3,000 years of history that
I
they
can
can
skip that
use.
quick.
Yeah, so they can use 3,000 years of history, but I could totally see that if the show's really popular and it keeps on going forever and ever and ever, I guarantee, like, I mean, Jeff Bezos says they want this to be the new Game of Thrones, and they spent so much money
What does
doing it.
Jeff Bezos care? He's gonna be on Mars or whatever.
Yeah,
He
I mean, that's
he
true, but
he doesn't give a
I
shit.
guarantee he still wants all of his things to be popular. But,
Yeah, because we wanna make sure that he gets up to, like, 300 billion or whatever
yeah.
he's trying to get to. Yeah, that's most important. Do you think there'd be any fantasy fatigue with what happened with the Wheel of Time and the other stuff that could plague this a little to make it as popular as he wants?
I don't think so because I think besides the two big things that people have been arguing about the images, I think a lot of Tolkien people are super happy about what they've seen.
It looks gorgeous. It's one of
Yeah,
the most gorgeous looking TV shows I've ever seen.
yeah, and the trailer, like it it's good time. Like I could totally see that this running into Lord of the Rings and them doing faithful adapt more faithful adaptations of the three of the Hobbit and the three because they got those rights, so they can totally do that. And those are things where like someone said that actually I think it was the Tolkien professor. He was talking about the movies. He was like, even though the movies are long, they're not as long as what they need to be because the
Mhm.
audiobooks are 12 hours long each. So that's 12 hours of content that you're condensing down into 4 hours.
Mm.
And he made the comment about that's the reason why, like, and I like, I think eventually they'll do a series for the Lord of the Rings movies or for the Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King
I think
eventually.
that would
It's
be
just,
weird. I don't know if people would accept that. I think we're still too close to it.
yeah, I mean, but I figure like that would probably be 15 years in the future.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. If it's maybe like 10 additional years, but
Yeah, because
if you're
like
talking about like 5 years, I think that's a bit.
I could see the Rings of Power. If it's popular and is getting good views and stuff, it could go for 15, 16 seasons because they have that much history to go through.
Mm,
And like they don't have to do they can do like one season that's all about the dwarves over here and or like even like 4 episodes about the dwarves over here and then there's the elves over here and then they got the humans and they got all the crap going on in Mordor and all that stuff. Like there's a lot to process. So um I am completely excited about it and like I think like I know we've talked about it with Amaru and he does not agree. But I think that's what they're going to end up doing with the Harry Potter series is remaking the books.
I also disagree with you on this, but
Yeah, I don't I don't know if I want to see it now that we've had like that special back in January was so good that I don't know if I will ever believe anyone else is those characters. But um, if they make it, I will totally watch it because guess what? I love that stuff. And I think, yeah, it needs to, like, I know movies are where it's at because you can, those novels are not, like, you're going to lose a lot by making them into movies. And
Yeah.
yeah. But, yeah,
I can't believe that special was in January. To me, it feels like it was 2 years ago, the way my life has gone, honestly.
Yeah. And then, of course, all right. So, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I will
Let's
say,
go, man.
there's one part of the
Look at
trailer that
that.
I stand watching. It's that scene where his face gets all and it goes all weird. It
Yeah,
gives me the creeps,
I
and
love it.
I can't stand it. I have to turn like look kind of sideways, so I'm only a little bit looking at it, but it's so good. Like, oh my lord, I am.
How could you not be excited for this?
Yeah, like this is.
And to be honest, I didn't even big spoilers, everybody. I didn't recognize that was Patrick Stewart the first time I watched it because it
Oh,
was
I didn't either. Like I heard the voice and was
yeah.
like, okay, and then saw that, oh, there was a big cameo in it. So I went back through and then I heard it the second time and was like, holy crap, they're no, what? So it makes me think so many things because like they're bringing him into a room. He's with Ultron bots, and then there's a bunch of chairs, and we know Baron Mordo is in one of the chairs. Uh,
Believed to be, yes.
yeah, well, it looks like him, and he has the hair and he has the robes and everything. But I real because I assume that's the Illuminati from,
That's what everybody is assuming.
and I know I have like I wonder who the rest. I mean, obviously it's going to be Xavier, but
Maybe.
well,
That's not been confirmed yet either. He
yeah,
could
I mean
be
that's
not
true, but
he could be not Xavier.
yeah,
He could be
I mean
somebody else.
that's true. He could be like the Watcher or somebody
He could
else,
be
some other
anybody.
bald dude.
Never has there been this much speculation about who's been sitting in chairs. Not
Yeah,
since,
like
like, Bond. Not since, like, nobody knew who Blofeld was. Turn around. Like, honestly.
yeah, and there's an entire thing about how like on the have you seen the poster?
I've seen it, but I didn't wanna get the full study of what the poster meant because
Okay.
I wanna keep some stuff out.
Okay, do you care if I mention one thing?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Captain Carter's shield
I
is on
had
the
heard
poster.
this, so that's already been
So,
for me.
I wonder if because like Steve was on in the Illuminati at one point in the
Yes.
comics, so I wonder if she'll take that spot as like since Chris Evans apparently whatever, and just
He's
like
on the moon.
yeah, and since I think this will be like a multiverse Illuminati, so
Yeah.
that's the reason why like we'll have her, and then Mordo is our Earth's representative, and then there's uh Patrick Stewart as Xavier, and I think we're gonna end up getting something like I know people have said that because he was apparently going to be cast as uh Tony Stark that we could see Tom Cruise as Tony.
Superior Iron Man.
Yeah, and I would like that better than RDJ coming back, but
No, I think RDJ thing is dead and buried, given basically how he has behaved since that has ended.
yeah, and but I know not enough people will know that Tom Cruise was almost Iron Man to warrant
I
like
mean, did a lot of people know that Jake Gyllenhaal was gonna take over for Tobey Maguire with his back injury and be Spider-Man?
no.
No, but I mean, like, that was a thing that helped in hand. Like, when you heard that, it was like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that story. That was cool." I don't think anybody cares about that. I think it would just be an interesting, like, subplot that
But yeah, like I'm really curious where this is all gonna go.
Uh,
Um,
it could also be, by the way, thinking of other people in chairs. Reed Richards also speculated about,
yeah,
and a Black Panther of sorts.
yeah. So I've seen things where like it could be the young version of T'Challa's father, that actor.
John Caney.
Yeah, or it could be Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
be sure. Could be Shuri.
yeah. Well, because the images I've seen where it looks like, but I think, but I mean, it's possible. But I've also seen stuff like it could be M'Baku, like the in the alternate reality he took black or
He
uh
defeated T'Challa and took the
no,
Black
like
Panther.
when Angela Bassett and them came
Oh,
and brought him the herb, he took it because he
mm,
didn't find T'Challa.
oh,
Um,
okay.
so that could be interesting. But yeah, like uh, so yeah, getting Winston Duke back would be good.
I'd be all for more Winston Duke, so that's cool.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I wonder, will it be John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic?
And he's the betting favorite, right?
Yeah,
And with him, then you get potentially Emily Blunt as the Invisible Woman.
yeah. And then of course, like
We got notice about America Chavez,
yep,
and I didn't know this. Did you know that she was supposed to be in No Way Home? There was concept art of it.
I did not.
She was supposed to be so No Way Home was supposed to come out after Doctor Strange. And the idea of opening up multiverse portals as opposed to it being Ned figuring out how a sling ring works was supposed to be America Chavez punching holes through universes. So they had to completely rewrite all that stuff to make it work
Okay.
and to switch the order of these movies. So I think that would have been interesting. By the way, Spider-Man No Way Home, third highest grossing movie domestically all time,
Yep.
still hasn't opened in China. Just want to say that
Probably never will.
probably never will, but it could have been a $2.5 billion movie.
Yeah, I've seen that. I definitely think it could rock in game levels.
It could have got close. I don't know if it would have got there exactly, but I think it could. And well, are you saying like still in a pandemic? Because if it wasn't in a pandemic and it was
Honestly, I
everywhere, I
think
think it could have. I think it could have made $3 billion.
honestly, I think even in a pandemic, like it already made $1.7 billion
Yeah, it's like
without
1.8.
China.
Yeah,
I think it would have either beat Endgame and Avatar or got real close to it.
I
Even,
wonder if it would have got close to Force Awakens domestically.
yeah, well, because honestly, I don't think like the Americas were that affected by the pandemic in December
I think it
because
was still affected though. I think it could have got close to like 800 million domestic. Would have got close to like Endgame domestic numbers.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy that Force Awakens almost made $1 billion
well,
domestic.
I don't think that's crazy at all. I saw it 11 times in the theater,
That's
8 times in the same
I
weekend.
can't believe that's
Dude, it like
you're insane to me.
yeah, watched it Thursday once, 5 times on Friday. It was the longest day ever.
I
Like,
bet it.
I would get my ticket, and it was luckily enough, it was the same theater. Uh, I bought my tickets for the exact same room. So I was just in that theater. Like, if I needed to go pee, I would do that. If I needed to go run out the door to go eat something between showings, but other than that, I just stayed in my chair for 14 hours, and it was good.
All right, fine, whatever.
And then
But
I watched it Saturday and Sunday as well, and then 2 times the next weekend,
you've
and
watched it
then
more than I've watched it in my life.
yeah, well, and as a person who, like, I watched Revenge of the Sith, like, I watched it probably 3 times in the theaters back in 2005, but whenever it came out on, DVD, I watched it every day for half a year because
Jeez.
it is my favorite Star Wars movie,
Okay.
But I remember watching it. I watched it in 2005 that many times, and I still probably have not watched it more times since then than I did in that year. And it's the same way with The Force Awakens. Is I watched it 11 times in those 2 weeks, and I doubt I've watched it 11 times since then.
Jeez, man.
Like
Good,
because
good on you for being that committed to that stuff. I could never do that.
yeah, I just when I because like I was 14 in 2005, so I watched that. But yeah, even in 2015, I was only 24 and still hadn't figured out life yet, really. I was single and all that crap. I had nothing to do except just,
I guess that's fair. Yeah,
yeah,
circumstance
like,
dictated that.
man, if there had been fan leagues in 2015, I would be the champion. Because
Okay.
at the time, IG was so small, it was only the basic 8 categories. Uh, like, I would have killed because I had nothing to do
Well,
besides
invent a
watch
time
movies.
machine, Colton, and bring 2015 Colton into 2022.
Yeah, but no, he would not be good. Like just like I am not like good at all the
Oh,
rest of the stuff. It's
well
because
then
like,
go back in time and go hang
oh yeah,
out
if I went back in time, I would be the best
with.
ever.
Okay. Well,
Also, if I'm going back in time, I'm buying Bitcoin.
I'd buy
Realistically,
into Zoom for sure.
yeah. I'm definitely gonna also invest
I
in some.
thought that, by the way, when pandemic was happening, I was like, should we buy into Zoom? Because I feel like that's going to be a big thing, and I didn't do it, and I regret it. Don't just if you have a feeling, kids, just go for it. You know, you never know when you miss your chance. Either way, let's go back to the point
The
at hand,
movie, yeah.
which is the trailer. And the trailer looks amazing. I'm very excited for the Wanda Strange dynamic, which
Yeah.
was set up in that one line, which everybody talks about. But I'm excited for Mordo because we've been waiting for Mordo for 5 freaking years. Uh, justice for Pangborn. I hope he gets his magic back. I hope Benjamin Bratt's in this movie, by the way. Even for a little bit. I just want him to be in it. I know there's so many people. We had that thing in the scene that you talked about with his face going all cube-like, which was similar to what happened to
Right.
Drax in Infinity War. People speculated that there's animated stuff happening on, maybe X-Men 97 stuff going on. That's been speculated, which is neat. I'm very, very excited. I don't think I've been as excited. I was excited for No Way Home, but I'm weirdly more excited for this because of anything's possible now. Honest, anything's possible now.
Like, I like that. I mean, I assume because it's a Sam Raimi movie that Bruce Campbell will be in it
Yes,
somewhere.
I'm hoping. Here's my hope, and I don't think it'll work, but I'm hoping this is what I'm hoping. His 3 characters from the first 3 Spider-Man movies are all in it, and they meet each other. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Wrestling promoter, Usher, Mater D. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's get it done.
Yeah. Like. So yeah, I definitely assume that he will be in the movie.
Yeah.
Which
Will Ted Raimi be in it? Will his brother be in it?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, if he is, I hope he gets to meet up with J. Jonah Jameson, the version that we saw in No Way Home, because he was his like assistant or whatever, assistant editor. I don't know what he was technically.
Yeah. But yeah, like I it's gonna be weird. Like, do we I I think it's too early to bring Toby back
A little bit,
for another one.
a little
But
bit.
I would love to see like I don't know what's gonna happen because like Morbius comes out before this,
My God, yeah, right. Ugh.
and there's the wall mural of that version of Spider-Man on the wall, and
Yeah,
then there's the Oscorp Tower from Andrews, and there's a reference to Venom,
and Ryan
and freaking tombs from the freaking Tom Holland movie. It's like I don't
and the
know.
Rhino.
Yeah,
Maybe Giamatti. We might have a Giamatti sighting.
like it's so
Giamatti
weird. And I'm not excited. Like when it was coming out in January, I was excited for it because I would have already seen it. But
You'd already
this,
have the knowledge. You would already
yeah,
absorb it.
now I'm not because guess what? Every time now I'm thinking about, ooh, I want to do this. Like whenever I go see the Batman, at least comes out before my son is supposed to be here. Knock on wood. Um,
That's in 2 freaking weeks, by the way.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, no, we'll talk about this in just a second. But now I have to think about, hey, is me going to the movies to watch this worth my wife being with my baby all by herself? Because the boys will obviously come with me. She's not coming to
Yeah,
watch.
that's what you do, right? You use it as a babysitting excuse.
Yes, but again, I don't think Morbius is.
Morbius isn't worth it.
Yeah, no, of because I mean, if I'm working all day, like she's me and her are gonna be with the baby all day, especially like for the first like well, and she'll be watching him for at least for the first 3 to 5 years. That's the reason why I'm trying to work 2 jobs so that we don't have to if she doesn't want to. But I mean, if she's down for going back to work or whatever, that's cool. Whatever she wants to do, man. But if she wants to stay with little buddy running around, that's cool. But yeah, like the thought of, ooh, I'm gonna go watch this movie that I'm not really excited for, and stick her with the infant. I'm not gonna win that battle because it's not gonna be a good movie, and she's probably not gonna be very happy.
You could feign excitement for like 2 weeks prior. You'd be like, "Oh man, 2 weeks out from Morbius." Just
Okay. Well, luckily enough, she doesn't watch this show,
yeah,
or she would have just heard that. So,
yeah.
but yeah, like I'm not excited for that, but I am very, very, very excited for the Batman and for Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And like the
And then
fact
in
that this
and
is
then in April, it's Secrets of Dumbledore and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is
yes, and
all all freaking awesome.
both of those because Secrets of Dumbledore comes out 2 days before my birthday,
Mhm.
so I can use my birthday as an excuse for that one. And then the boys are going to want to see Sonic, so
Yeah.
they're them wanting to go see it, just like I'm gonna have to go see Jurassic Stupid. Uh,
June 12th? There's some time. It's 4 months away.
yeah, that's true, but still, like, I'm not gonna be that person who brings a 3-month-old infant into the movie theater.
Dang it. I was hoping to hear a fun story about how that ruined your experience.
No, it will never ruin my experience. He will be adorable as crap. I will love every noise that he makes. It may ruin other people's experience, and
Sorry.
I
Ruin yours by osmosis because of how it ruins other people's. That's all.
oh yeah, yeah, that would be the worst. But yeah, like I am more excited for the stuff like Doctor Strange. Gonna be good. I'm
It's gonna
really
it's
excited
gonna
for
be
it.
amazing. I'm very curious how it's going to. People like it's gonna reset stuff because I think it will. That's in some degree, and they get to do it before the Flash does. They get to do a reboot basically before the Flash does, so that Marvel beats DC again.
Yeah, I know they're doing all the multiverse stuff, and DC's been doing it for trying to set it up since Batman versus Superman.
Yep, Marvel's always ahead of them, 10 steps ahead of them,
Yeah, like
except for the thing
what
we're
we're
going to
gonna
talk
talk
about.
about later. Yeah. But yeah, like it was that was a good trailer. I'm excited for it as well. I'm
Yeah,
really excited to see like all the wrap up from WandaVision. So
yeah, it's been a while. It's been over a year since WandaVision now. So,
yep, and
well, not
now we
over
get
a year. It's since it started, but it's been a year since it was in its heyday. So
yeah,
that'll be fun to see how that comes full circle with
yeah, and then I wonder how it will relate to the Loki show because like the multiverse exploded on that show, and then
Yeah,
the
Kang has been speculated about. We know he's the big bad in Quantumania, but maybe
yeah,
there's a little uh a vestige of a notice and a nod to him.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Like, or if there's going to be any other of the what if characters. Like, we obviously know Strange Supreme.
Strange Supreme and Captain Carter.
Yep.
You think we'll get like a Mega Ultron? Or whatever?
No, I don't think we'll get a Mega Ultron. The only thing I could figure is if Patrick Stewart is not Charles Xavier, I think he'll end up being the Watcher.
Okay. What a weird transition.
Yeah, it will be weird to, like you're watching What If and it's, the new Commissioner Gordon over here, and then it switches to being Patrick Stewart.
That would be very strange. I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah, but it happens.
Yeah, but either way, this is the best trailer of what had come out, I think. And I'm very excited for 3 months from now.
Yep. What, right before Kenobi?
This comes out right before Kenobi, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got an announcement that Stranger Things comes out like 2 days after Kenobi, which is incredible.
Yeah, which, like, that's one of those weird things where, like, they're splitting it up in part 1 and part 2, right?
Yeah. Yes,
which
they
is
are.
smart because, like, Netflix, like, Disney Plus and HBO Max, they figured it out. The week-by-week release is so much better than releasing it all at the same time because, yeah, I can watch The Witcher Season 1 and then Season 2 all together. But guess what? After 4 days, I'm not talking about it anymore.
That's what people have complained was the one thing missing from Stranger Things. But I got to tell you, binging Stranger Things over 4th of July weekend it's wonderful. It's fantastic. I love it. Yeah. I haven't revisited it since, but
Now, I will say, because I know we're looking for content here, I have never watched Stranger Things.
Oh my gosh.
But, like, I'm trying to figure out other things to watch because I know we talked about Halo.
Yeah.
It comes out in like 4 weeks.
Okay.
And then, of course, Moon Knight comes out in like 5 weeks. But I'm trying to think of other things of content. So, if we can think of any other shows to watch, I will totally try my best to watch Stranger Things.
Don't try your best, just do your best and it will do its best on you.
Yes. How long is the first season?
I don't remember. 8 episodes.
Okay. Because I'm trying to think.
Maybe 10. It's not over 10. I know that.
And they're all hour long?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember anything about it.
Okay, because I
know the little beats, or the main beats, but I don't know the little beats.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of, like, stuff that we get, even if it's just like, hey, there's, 5 seasons of it?
It's 3.
3? Oh, okay.
There will be 5. 5 is the max.
Okay. Then, yeah, because I'm trying to think of, hey, what can we do over the next few weeks to talk about for the show so that we are not just being nonsense.
I kind of think an hour plus of nonsense would be fun.
Oh, yeah, I'd absolutely agree. But yeah, like, it's going to be good. I don't even know what else to say about the trailers, but I think that's pretty much it. All right, the movie trivia report. So, some things happen in the realm of Schmodown. I'm not going to release all, like, the awards and stuff. They did the awards. There's do you know who all won everything?
I watched it in very rapid. I didn't watch the show. I basically just wanted to know who won stuff. But I think I remember most of it. But you're not going to spoil anything for me.
So there's some on here that I'm like, I don't exactly agree with.
I think from how we talked about it, I think I got like 95% of it right.
Yeah. I don't like that. Like, of course, like, The Rundown is going to win Podcast of the Year.
Yeah.
Because it's the official Schmodown podcast.
It's the one most people watch.
Yeah, like, So it's so weird to like see shows like that, like win
Oh, you think
awards.
there should be another category, another set? You know how like the Oscars has the Oscars and they have the technical awards? The Emmys
No,
have the technical. You think we should be in the technical version?
no, I don't think that it or backstage should be nominated.
I don't think backstage should be. It's put on by them.
Well, yeah, but I think it's the same thing. Like back or
Oh, rundown.
rundown.
Sorry, yeah, rundown. I was thinking of the one that has Molly on it.
Yeah, like that one, absolute. Like they won media of the year and they absolutely deserve it.
Yeah,
That one is so good. But yeah, I think like shows like the rundown and backstage are both produced by the Schmoes
yeah, that's dumb.
on their channel.
That's
Like,
right. That did come up, and I was like, "That's so stupid. Why did that win?" I remember thinking that now. Yes,
but yeah, all the other awards, like
they were pretty straightforward to me. I mean,
yeah, like of course, like some people are gonna say that uh I do not think that Marisol, which I know is not a popular opinion,
no, it's
but
what I
I
expected
understand.
though.
I understand why. I think it's because, like, with her and Collins, they did not do well as Deception.
No,
She
not
did
her,
well in
not
singles.
her fault. But
Yeah, she did well in singles, but that's the only division that she did well in. Kalinowski did well in IG, in teams, and in singles.
well, I mean, they weren't gonna. She was gonna win that no matter what.
Yeah, I just
Hey, you could say that's biased. You could say there's other political machinations at work because of it, but she was the first female champion. She defended, and she's still the champion. So,
yeah, I just
in what is considered the hardest division,
which I don't even think that's true. Like
I
that's
think.
one of the things where I think the people in uh the fan leagues could go to the Schmodown and become champions in teams and singles. I don't think
I
anyone could beat Harper for the Star Wars belt that's in the fan leagues,
no,
and I don't think anyone could beat uh, the IG like
I
great.
I disagree.
Well, I don't think like because I don't think no one beat Parker when he was in the fan leagues.
Parker
No,
was right there. He
yeah,
there was weird stuff that happened, but whatever. Okay.
and then only Parker beat Smets, and I don't know. Uh,
Count
and
out
then
Smets.
Amaru, like
Amaru was right there, and there again, shady things happened. So
yeah,
I don't know
like
what you mean. I think there are plenty of people in the fan leagues who could win the IG belt if they really wanted to.
yeah,
If you all right, I'm just gonna put this out there. I don't care what you say. You can strike me down with all of your hatred. I don't care. If I only had to focus on that and you gave me 2 months, I'd be really good at it. Trust me.
okay.
If that's all I had to focus on. If you put me in a bunker,
Yeah, like
like,
that's one of those things where I think um Thomas has talked about like the FCL Star Wars champion. Apparently he is really good.
mhm.
Really, really good. And like Harper has talked about that if he ever gets moved up to the Schmodown, he's probably the only person that he's really afraid of.
Whoa.
And that makes me be like, I can't win the FCL Star Wars
Well,
championship
not
game.
with that guy, but maybe if he moves on, and you say,
Yeah, so I've already just forgotten about the audition process.
damn it, damn
We
you,
just screwed that up. I mean,
damn you.
I will eventually do it. Like if I have a day where
Oh yeah, you'll eventually do it with your kid in tow.
no, I'm gonna like find some time in the next before he is born to at least make the audition video. I don't know
Okay.
where it will go and put it online.
Store it in the cloud.
Yeah,
Cloud will have it.
put it online and send it to him, and then I'm not checking back.
Okay. Some would say you could put it in Cloud City.
Yes, yes. Yeah, like
Yeah, all the other awards were pretty straightforward, right?
yeah,
Griffey won for Rookie of the Year, right?
yeah. Which
No, yeah,
even
he won.
that I'm
Yeah,
like,
he won.
And
They really weighted singles and teams, right? That's basically what happened with these awards. They really weighted that above IG and Star Wars.
yeah, and then of course, like they announced that Kevin Smets will play Chandru in the first pay per view on 2/26,
That's
and
gonna be
then
awesome.
and that's the main event,
It's
and then
awesome.
the opening contest or whatever you want to call it is the Wildberries versus Video Drew and Claudia Dolph, which I have no idea who that second person is, but
I know Claudia. Yeah, Claudia Dolph. I
okay.
know.
But it's them in the opening contest, and then Kevin Smets and Chandru.
It's called the undercard.
Undercard. There
Opening.
you go. As a person who like I watch wrestling,
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that called? And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, opening contest. I got this. Wait, undercard. You're right.
Undercard. The undercard. Yes.
Yeah, and like that's one of those things where I know when you like when people auditioned this year, they were like, we want more characters. Like
Mhm.
trivia, you still gotta be good at trivia, but we want more people that are dead or more characters. Because I guess like they were gonna go fully into the storylines again, which I love that. Like that we'll talk about in just a minute. Um, four of the factions have done something like released who they were either playing or who they were choosing or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't. The only thing I watched was the Sam announcement.
Yeah, Sam Levine is retiring.
Officially
Needless to
retiring,
say.
like fully retiring.
Yeah, which now I'm like, we know where uh one of their people is going.
I didn't watch the other ones. Who do we know is going somewhere?
Nikki DeMolanta is going to the dungeon,
Okay.
and that's the only one
Our boy is without a home right now. He's in
yes. Coy has made an offer to Liz Shannon Miller.
Mm,
She just has to accept it.
mm,
But so Coy chose Shazam as their team,
yeah.
as his team, Andrew DeMolanta as the Star Wars player, and then Brandon Hanna as his IG player. And I don't
Yikes.
understand that one because he is awful at IG.
He is
Like he's the
anymore.
one, like he is the one person in IG that I think I could beat in the show.
Oh, I'm sure you could beat other people. Come on.
No, I mean not. I don't think I could. I don't know. Like it's so weird. Like according to how the wheel goes, because especially with all the new categories, I'm gonna die if I get one of those new categories. I'm
We'll
gonna
start
die.
working on it, Chief.
Yeah, but so like if Alex Damon didn't get Star Wars, I could beat Alex Damon. I think.
Whoa, fire, hot fire, everybody. Supernova
Yeah.
Show. Take.
No offense. I mean, yeah. So
Hot take. He's been studying
then
that stuff. You haven't been studying half of it.
yeah, like I yeah, there's definitely those things that's happened that those are two people that I know for a fact. Like there's no doubt in my mind about at least those two. If Alex gets Star Wars, I'm done. Well, actually, and even IG Star Wars is not as bad as it used to be.
Mm.
Like so he would get 10, but if I got something like Wizarding World or Middle Earth, even though I cannot stand Battle of the Five Armies, I could make it work. If it's on the wheel, I can watch that stupid movie. But yeah, like I'm trying to think what other IG players there are that I could beat. Let's see. Um hmm, I don't know. But yeah, so Kaiser chose Kevin Smets, Nikki DeMolanta, and they made an offer to Danger Zone that if Danger Zone chooses to be in the dungeon, they'll be put in a match. If they win that match, they'll get a number one contenders match.
Really?
But if they don't choose to be in the dungeon, that match is off the table.
I feel like that should have been 2 matches away.
Yeah, but I guess this is the part of the storyline stuff that
Ugh,
and
this is why I hate storylines.
yeah,
Honestly,
and
it's
if
why
they lose, then
undeserving teams and people get in places they shouldn't.
and if they lose, they can break up.
Thank God. I
Which
think it
is
should
what
happen.
Ben, I think, wanted to do. In the video, Ben was like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna take our time away." And then when Kaiser was like, "I got an offer for you, and you'll get a number one contenders match if you beat any team. It doesn't even have to be a good team. They're like, beat any team, and you'll get a number one contenders match." And he's like, "Let me go talk to Dan." I love storyline crap.
Oh, well, I'm glad
But
you do.
and then of course Finstock, he took King Arthur, which I know they have a really good record, so I understand why. Even though I think, yeah, Khan is definitely the weaker player there.
Of course.
He took Barbarian,
Okay.
which Barbarian's a good IG player and he can play singles,
Yep.
and then Gold Leader. And then
Okay.
those are the only factions that have made their choices known.
Everything makes sense with what you said, except the Brendan Hanna thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Corruptions, I'm pretty sure is pretty like duh. Like it's gonna be uh Deception, I think will be their team.
Oh, that's right, because I mean, we had the thing with Chance, but that probably speaks louder to that he won't be there.
Yeah, Mike will be their IG player. I think Chance will be their singles player, and
Oh,
then
you think Chance will still be there? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I mean, yeah, they did have that little like story beat at the end of last season,
Yeah.
but so and then I assume it will either be Sean Sullivan or um as their Star Wars person or someone new. But yeah, like I have no idea where Rue will go. Or I mean, technically they don't have to go in a faction. Like they said, they're gonna have the 7 factions or whatever, but the factions aren't important.
Good. I hope I want Lone Wolf Ronin Rue. I think
Yeah, and like
that makes a lot of sense.
I like that as well.
Yeah.
Like
He is a silent assassin, so it kind of fits.
yeah, and I prefer that. Like I like the people that are on
Because
there.
where would he end up? Like the den?
I mean, they don't have an IG player, so
Yeah, I mean, but like that, I don't like that.
well, yeah, because their IG player. Um, I'm trying to think who was their IG player last season.
Wasn't it he who shall not be named?
No, it was
Oh,
not.
okay.
Uh, all right, let's go look at the Schmoedown factions. Um, yeah, because it definitely wasn't him. Because I thought a second, and like, there's like Parker. Where's he gonna go?
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, like, so someone like that could totally.
But the point is that I don't think it fits Rue to do that.
Yeah.
He might disagree. If he was still on here making comments, maybe.
Oh yeah, Saul. He
Oh yeah. So,
not their IG person. So yeah, no.
yeah.
Um,
So where does that leave him at?
yeah, and he's not going to go to the Stars because
Yeah.
Alex Damon is there.
Yeah. Who am I missing?
Nope. The Dungeon
Oh,
is there.
Swag? Swiggity Swag?
Yeah, that's possible.
You know what? I take that back. I could see him on Swag.
Yeah, because like Chandru's no longer in Swag, so I could totally see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
Yep, that's the only one because everyone else has an IG player.
Okay, well.
Unless he does like the lone wolf thing, which I'm completely.
Either way, I'm cool with.
Yep.
Did you hear that, Rue? That's what we're cool with. And if you don't do those things, then I don't know.
Oh, I have another person I just realized I can beat by looking at this.
Oh.
But I'm not gonna say it. I'll just type it.
Okay.
And
We'll see.
oh yeah, no, I have no doubts about that one. But
Oh, so, uh, is this shaping up to be a season that you are interested in? Because honestly, the way it's going for me, I'm hit or miss on this.
yeah, I think because I think they'll finally resolve that Grace Hancock and Guy storyline from last season when they were doing the entire Winter Soldier thing, and he's programmed, and I like that. They're
I
going to do
kind of
that.
hope they would just forget it.
Yeah,
I, I think it's funnier when you just forget storylines and just go on to something else. Honestly, that would make
yeah, but that one I thought like because at the end of the 2020 season he gets kidnapped, right?
yeah,
And then brainwashed, and then that's the reason why he's on the desk. And like every once in a while when he's calling a match, he'll say something funny that's not related to the thing, and he'll be like, "Wait, why did I say that?" And I'm like, "That's great." Like he's peppering the story beats, even though they're not really doing stories at that point. Like whenever he would go, be like, "Hey, we're gonna send you to Jess," uh, and then whenever she would finish, and he'd be like, "Sorry, that was Jen," and like Jess was the thing that him and Ben used to call
yeah.
her all the time, and I'm like, yes, I love stuff like that. Like the Schmominati is great. It's and especially like I don't think he'll ever play again because like and
He's one of the more in demand people of all the people, right? He's got more stuff going on.
yeah,
As
like he's an actual actor
yeah,
and stuff. Not to say like I know like Ben Bateman's a musician now,
yeah,
and like Mike Kalinowski has been in a ton of shows. Like I was
yeah,
watching something the other day
yeah.
and
He's
he
an
was on it.
impeachment. He's an American Crime Story impeachment, and he brought that up about his co-star Sarah Paulson.
Yep. And I'm trying to remember what it was that he was just in that I or not just in, but me and my wife was watching it, and I'm gonna look him up real quick. Because
But
I did not like whatever it was, but I recognized him. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And that's like I've been watching How I Met Your Mother recently,
mm,
and like the first season, Sam Levine is outside a nightclub, and it's so weird to see him like this is obviously like 2006, so he looks really really young, and he has no facial hair, and it's creepy looking.
yeah, same when you go
But
back and watch Freaks and Geeks, or not another teen movie.
Castle, yeah, that's it.
It was an episode of Castle.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah, 'cause
awesome.
we watch Nathan Fillion and
The Rookie.
the Rookie. Yeah, we watched that, and she was like, "Have you ever watched Castle before?" And I was like, "No, I have not."
Oh gosh.
But it's actually not bad.
I've watched a ton of Castle because it's always on, like, TNT. I'm just saying, like, I would sit down and watch it. You know what I mean? I would watch it if it came up, and I'd be like,
oh,
"Yeah,
and it was in Vampire Diaries. That's it as well.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm very interested to see where all this goes.
okay." I need convincing.
I understand.
I've lost interest in it, just to the point where I was gonna ask you, how long do you think this will go on for?
What will go on for?
Schmoedown. How long do you think the Schmoedown will go on for?
Oh, I think it will go on as long as it's making money.
Okay.
Yep. I think it will as long as certain things don't happen with certain people and like all of their people get in trouble, then I
That'd
think
be
it will,
interesting if we just heard a story, like, of, like, 20 people in the Schmoedown who were in trouble, and then, like, the league was just defunct. It's like the USFL or something.
yeah.
That'd be fun. Honestly, I think that would be the funnest thing that happened, and then somebody, like, bought it up, like The Rock tried to do with the XFL, you know? I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I'd get back on board if that happened.
Now that is one of those things where like I know they're making their thing with and they have not replied. I've put a message on that comment saying, "Hey, do we have to book them through this service if it's not Schmodown related?"
Yeah.
They have not gotten back to me yet. So, yeah, I don't have any idea. So, I I understand why. But yeah, like I don't agree with any of that. But I mean, I'll do whatever they need to do, but it's like it's weird. And like the way that like, Schmodown people can't play with the fan leagues and stuff.
But they can
Like,
debate.
yeah, they can do
Is that
debate.
being taken away from them? Do you know?
What?
Is that being taken away from them? The debating part of it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, and like even if you go to like the FCL, which I'm pretty sure like Peggy, uh, I assume I know Peggy, I assume Christina and Jacoby will probably go to the FCL if they're not picked up by a faction.
Hmm.
I
I
mean,
see.
because well, no, because Jacoby was on in Chaos Theory, right? With crap, what was his name?
The dude from the FCL? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
yeah, but now that storylines are back up, like the FCL storylines are really good.
Mhm.
That's the only part of it that's good. Like it's it's much worse than the competition in the fan leagues. But whereas like I think people that go from the fan leagues that are good to the FCL, they'll dominate.
I would assume so.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's an entire thing that happens. And okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and uh let's go ahead and talk about some Peacemaker.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh my lord. It was
Oh,
okay, let's throw that spoiler tag. Even though if once I throw the spoiler tag, people won't be able to read your little name
that's
on
fine.
there. So that was so good.
Such a good finale.
Yes, it was. Like
In 2022, 2021, 2022, where season finales have been a little bit hit or miss and mostly on the miss side, this was like top tier stuff happening here.
yep, I agree. It was good times. Like there were definitely moments where I thought bad things were going to happen to all of our
Oh,
characters.
yeah, my wife did as well. It seemed like it was heading that way.
Yeah, like when Peacemaker fly or falls down through the stairs, I was like, because it's kind of like he's not super powered,
No,
but then I remembered, oh, Black Widow can fly off a building and hit everything on the way down, and she's fine.
I mean, I was thinking because we were talking about it, I was like, well, he did get shot in the throat in the building, and Jotunheim fell on him, and he still survived. So I was like, this is like half of that, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, like his characters getting, and they renewed it for season 2.
I was surprised that I saw this before I watched the episode, but I was surprised.
Like that's one of those things where I wonder because they were filming the show as they were releasing the show, so I wonder if there's parts of like would Hardcore have died if there wasn't going to be a second season,
Possibly, yeah.
or would have Vigilante died if there hadn't been a second season?
No, I
Like both of those characters, it up until the end, it was very like, and just like when Vigilante went down, and then we just see him get back up, and he's normal. I was like, oh, he got butterflied, like so hard.
no,
I thought
he's wearing a mask.
I know, but I thought, okay, one of them just
By the
came
way,
over to-
smartest person on the field. He was actually the only one wearing a mask to protect himself from that shit happening.
yeah, like, but I mean, the fact that he just got up and he was acting normal, and
Yeah, because he's a psychopath. He doesn't
yeah,
feel
but then whenever he fell over at the hospital, I was like, oh, okay, good. He's not a butterfly. We're good. We're good to go. But yeah, like,
I
um,
mean, the interesting thing about the last 2 episodes is that they did these payoffs of jokey things that were just one-off things, but they paid them off as huge character beats and huge story beats, and it was amazing. Like, in episode 7 where Eagly gets up and hugs Chris, and then Adebayo sees it, and that's her impetus to get back on the horse basically and join the team is incredible. And then this one, we have like 4 episodes of John Cena just calling Steve Agee dye beard the whole time, and then he has to explain the reasoning behind his dyed beard, and it's heartbreaking.
I know,
So
and like,
sad.
yeah, I agree, and
Incredible.
that's one of those things where, yeah, the butterfly would know all of his insecurities.
Mhm.
So it's like the perfect cover
Yeah,
there, and yeah, I
and then and then and then he breaks his leg just falling over a fucking fence,
yep,
which is and he drags himself to the center of the thing, which is incredible.
yeah,
The design of how it is they use the human torpedo, which looks funny, but it works in the context with both usages and how it connects with sets up to be the main thing that's used against the cow. Like
yeah,
that all sequencing and the CGI for everything is incredible on this. It's really amazing. And we got to hear the whole song, the whole Wigwam song
yeah,
as they're
like,
fighting, which is a little dissonant at points, but at least we get to hear more of the lyrics, which I thought were dope.
yeah,
And
and it was, like, slowed down a little bit.
yeah, it's fun when she's getting shot and you think she's gonna get killed and it gets all tangled and like the record is spinning in reverse and slowed down. It's incredible. Him with the shield, when Vigilante gets hit and he's about to go down, he just throws the thing he got stabbed with and decapitates a dude, which is incredible. Um, Everything is pretty amazing in this, and then we haven't even gotten to the
Yeah, at the
Negan family.
beginning, her mom and is like, tells and she's like, "Do we wanna get the Justice League involved?" And I was
Yeah,
like, "Ha ha, yeah, you're gonna make a comment about that."
yeah.
But then they paid it off,
They paid
and
it off, and when it's happening, you're like, "Well, they're just in shadow because they didn't really get anybody." And then
yeah,
I was listening to a review, and they were like, they walk past Aquaman, like, "Wow, they got somebody who really looks like Jason Momoa." It's fucking Jason Momoa.
yeah, like, though it being, Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa, I totally understand because at this time they were probably, they were around filming The Flash and Aquaman. So I was
Mhm.
like, cool. I do I I understand why Superman and Wonder Woman were in shadow because that was obviously not Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot.
Yeah,
Um,
they're too important for this. I'm
yeah.
surprised no Batman silhouette. I thought that was interesting.
Well, yeah, that's why I wondered about that too. But I guarantee they just don't want to reference.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I
they're gonna
guarantee
reboot
we
it
will.
with Michael Keaton, right? So
Yeah,
and they
like,
wouldn't
I
have made
don't think we will ever see Ben Affleck as Batman outside of the Flash movie ever again, and I don't think we'll see Henry Cavill as Superman again. I think Flashpoint is gonna reset all that, and we'll have a new Superman, and
yeah.
we'll have a new Batman, well, an old Batman,
Yeah,
and
a new old or an old new Batman.
yeah, and I hate that because Ben Affleck is, like, arguably my favorite Batman,
Okay,
and Henry Cavill, I think, is the best Superman we've ever had.
okay.
Um
You could have those opinions.
Yeah, I know that neither one of those are popular opinions. Like,
No, I think the Henry Cavill one makes sense.
well, like
The Ben
I think,
Affleck one skews. It's generational.
yeah, I know a lot of people think Christian Bale. Honestly, if it wasn't so campy, I think Adam West is probably the best Batman. Like when I
I
was a
mean,
kid,
yeah. I mean, he's
he
the
was
one
the
a
one
lot
I
of
always
people grew
thought
up
of
with. Yeah.
because I never watched the Michael Keaton movies up until I was much older.
I know a lot of people would say Kevin Conroy,
Yeah.
and I've watched more and been involved with more Kevin Conroy Batman in my life than anybody else.
Now, and I will say, I probably as a kid watched the George Clooney one more than any other movie. Because when
Interesting.
you're a kid, that came out in what, 99,
97.
97? So yeah, I was like 6 years old. And of course, I loved Mr. Freeze. And I was just like, that's the Terminator.
Yeah. My dad really liked the Val Kilmer version.
Yeah.
He used to read like the old detective comics and thought he had a nice blend of Batman and Bruce Wayne and his pathos and ethos of how he sort of lived with the death of his parents and how it affected him, which I always thought was interesting that my dad had that opinion. But when you go back in time and look at it now, Val Kilmer is a better Batman than was given credit to at the time. No, I don't think there's ever been a bad Batman.
Yeah, and yeah, like we will. I think Robert Pattinson has the potential to be the best.
He can. I mean, I was listening to an interview with him and they were talking about how he wanted to do the Christian Bale voice because it was his like that was what he was watching, but he's talking a lot more as Batman, so it has to be more um it has to be more eloquent, you know, it has to be recognizable speech as opposed to what Christian Bale was doing.
Yeah,
And I
and
was
of
like, well,
course,
that's good. That's what Batman was like in the cartoon.
yeah, and like I kind of wish they had had the car drive up to bring it back to Peacemaker. Like even if it was just a generic Batmobile,
Yeah.
then you know
It would have been
Batman.
cool if it was a live reenactment of the cartoon Batmobile, like if
Yeah,
they had figured out a way to put that in silhouette or whatever. That would have been cool. But
but
I
yeah,
mean I mean,
and then,
this is where my thing comes in, where they
okay,
show up way too late, and he's like, "You're too late, dicks." He's like, "Why don't you go fuck another fish?" And then he's like, "I'm so sick of that rumor." He's like, "But you do that." He's like, "Fuck you, Barry," which is
he's like,
great.
but it's not a rumor. And he's
Yeah,
like,
it's not a rumor. Fuck you, Barry. It's the best Momo has ever been. Honestly,
yeah,
doesn't get better than that.
yeah, like it's
Honestly, Momoa stuff in the last 2 years, Dune, and this 2 second season piece, it's neck and neck. Honestly,
yeah, like I am. It is definitely the first season of this is comparatively it's better than all the no offense, like I love the MCU Disney Plus shows, but I think it's
now
better
it's
than
it's better than every one of them.
yeah, like WandaVision is the only one that I say that it's comparable to
It,
because that one had like real like
but I don't like the last episode of that.
yeah.
And the Ralph Boner thing is such a turn off of that.
Yeah,
And
and I
there's
think
no
that
turn
one
off
has
the
to
show.
I think that one has more to do because we speculated for such a long time.
No, that they played into that though.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. It wasn't like it was like a they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and then I'm like, what other superhero shows do I think are better than this? And I don't think there is any.
I mean, I'm not into the Arrowverse stuff, Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow and Titans and all that jazz. But I have to imagine that this is better than all that. I
Yeah.
can't imagine I would be as invested in that. I like the Harley Quinn cartoon show,
Yeah.
but this is better than that too. But that show makes me laugh hysterically all the time.
Yeah, like maybe Smallville if you liked that.
Yeah, but I think it's better than that. I think it
I
makes me feel more. I've watched some Smallville and I never felt as I felt watching the show.
yeah, I agree. Like I'm just thinking of
That's kind of crazy that James Gunn just came out of the box and was like, I'm gonna hit 400 with this show, and he just did it,
yeah,
and
like
it was great.
that's one of those things where like John Cena was being interviewed and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make this Peacemaker show," and he's like, "But my character's dead," and James Gunn was like, "No, no, I'll write around that," and then put the post credit scene in the Suicide Squad, and he was like, "Okay, cool," and like yeah,
And John Cena spent 6 months like you didn't see him wearing anything but Peacemaker outfit as he was promoting the show, being on the Peacemaker set, wearing
yeah,
his
well,
helmet all over the place. It was incredible.
yeah, there was that. Now there was a little bit before August, I think it was. He did go back to the WWE,
Okay.
and
Well,
so that was. I mean, of course, I enjoyed that. Like that's the reason why. Like I have to preface everything I say with I love this show, but I know I am biased because he's a WWE guy.
I love this
But
show because of how it's written, how
yeah,
it's acted, how it's shot, how it we get nods to things, and he made so many things canon that people are so excited about, which is incredible. In 8 episodes, he did all this stuff. It's remarkable, honestly.
Yeah, and like honestly, not to like ham on the rock or anything, but I think Cena from this show is it might be James Gunn's direction, and it might be that the fact that The Rock does very similar roles a lot, so we haven't seen him in like anything super serious. But I think this performance was better than anything The Rock's done.
Yeah, I mean, I like The Rock and like The Rundown, but that's an action movie, and I've never watched like Snitch or anything, but I know he's good in that.
And I will say, The Rock is very good in Ballers, and that's the only thing that's
I've
like,
watched Ballers. That's just The Rock being The Rock, honestly.
yeah, but at least there is dramatic stuff in that. I love that show. Like that's the show that got me into watching football.
Mm, okay.
Was after Cam Newton did his thing, and I stopped watching the Panthers,
Mhm.
and freaking I stopped doing that. And then Ballers came on, and I was like, oh, okay, I can actually like the way they talk about like injuries for uh and how like the impact of a career is done after you're done like
Mhm.
makes me very sympathetic for football players
Yeah.
because things happen.
There's a show that ESPN did called Playmakers in 2004 that I'm a big fan of, but they only made 1 season of it because they really hit home about this stuff before it was known by people about concussions and drug use and um, getting women pregnant and health risks and all this stuff. And it only lasted 1 year because the NFL didn't want to have this associated with it. But it's the best. It's the best football show representation of a sport in a show that I've ever seen. And it's sad that they only made 1 season of it, but I wish they would bring that back. Either way, getting back to Peacemaker, I'm very sad the show is over. There's only one thing I'm watching week to week right now, and it's Pam and Tommy. And I'm sad that the Boba Fett is done, even though I was not digging it at the end. And I'm super, super sad that this is done.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
If I start watching Pam and Tommy, are
We
we
can
gonna
talk
talk
about Pam and
about
Tommy if you want.
that? Okay.
Yeah. I'm watching it every week. So if that's something you want to do, I'm
I
down
mean,
for it.
honestly, like until people recommended it enough, I wasn't gonna watch Peacemaker
Yeah.
because I was just like, I'll wait till it's all over.
Yeah. But
And now,
aren't
like
you
the
glad you
last
didn't wait?
yeah, the last 2 weeks have been so hard, especially once Book of Boba Fett came out and it was disappointing. The season finale was disappointing, made this last week even harder because I was like, there's nothing good on the TV. And like all the shows me and my wife watch because of like stuff that's been going on, like the game on Sunday and some other stuff, they haven't had any new episodes. So I'm like over here like there's nothing to watch on TV. But at least I have How I Met Your Mother and that TV behind me and my Xbox Series X. So
Yeah.
that's something. But yeah, okay. But yeah, show was good. I'm excited for a second season.
Yeah.
And
I hope they bring in other Suicide Squad people for it. I think
yeah,
that's
and
one
of
thing.
course, like he's gonna have the him seeing his dad stuff, and then of course,
I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
uh, and Goff is still alive.
For now.
Yeah, until
I mean, that seemed like the last of the nectar,
yeah,
but we'll see what happens. You never know.
yep.
I thought it weird, that scene at the end, by the way, where they do the thing about like she's trying to get Chris to empathize with them about what they were trying to do, and then like we're seeing him as a kid, and he's making this deal with God about doing anything for peace. And I thought, like, great, you get him on your side, and you need 3 people to transport the cow, but aren't all the aren't all the butterflies dead? Like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna live out you and the other guy whose name I can't remember, the guy who looks like Pennywise, which I thought was a funny joke. Um, but yeah, I thought, great, you even get John Cena on board. What does that really mean in the grand scheme of things? And we got Judo Master back to cry, which also made me sad.
Yep. But yeah, let's go ahead and call this a day.
Mhm.
Yeah, this show was good.
Yeah.
All of this is good. I gotta figure out. I gotta start booking some content for next week. So that'll be interesting. I'll be talking to you a lot.
Yep.
See what we got going on.
Of course.
But yeah, it was good. Thank you for coming on. I always
Thanks for having me,
appreciate it.
man. I was glad I got to talk about Peacemaker and all this other stuff. Thank you for having me at Robert Kastner at Facebook, all kinds of stuff on the trivias and whatnot.
Yep, and at Colton Roberts 8 and at Supernova_show. And yeah, that'll be good. Follow us on all the things. TMG Entertainment, that would be good. But yeah, let's go ahead and call it a day.
Don't
Signing out.
forget to tip your virtual waitresses, everybody out there in the Supernova Show land. Let's go.